Hi, welcome. In this video, we will see how we can implement cron jobs in order to send regular notification to our users. So first of all, let's see those who don't know what is a cron job. We can simply see a cron job is a Linux command used for scheduling tasks to be executed sometime in future. So basically, cron jobs, we use cron jobs in order to schedule tasks to run at a particular time, at a particular duration, a regular interval of times. So whenever we have some requirement where we perform certain tasks at regular interval of time, we simply use cron jobs, right? So now what is our requirement? We need to send notification to user at a specific time or particular time, then we will use cron job. Now, so for Django, we are going to use a particular package which is called Django Chronos. Let's see. So Django collects tasks from code modules in your project root. So what we need to do is we need to create a file called code.py, and so in this particular file, whatever function we want to run at a particular time, we just need to add calculator, and in this we need to pass some time string. Now this is the time string which cron job understands, cron scheduler understands. What does it? It's for minutes, hour, day of week, and let's see. Let's just understand. Minute, hour, day of the month and day of the month. So these are the 5 instances we want to have. So generally we want to run something in every minute or particular minute or particular hours or any day of the month. We can right. So we just created a file called cron.py. This is the file. Let's see what it has implemented. We have implemented cron.py, and in this cron.py there are few functions which we have implemented. You can see there are only 2 functions where we have register crons. The rest other functions are just helper function or some function which perform some functionalities. So first of all, reset counter. What we are doing in reset counter is we just resetting the counter. That's it. Nothing at all. So it's like 0 minute. /2, that means every 2 hours. So star means every hour, /2 means every 2 hours. What we are doing is we are resetting the counters to 0 for these columns. That means maybe we have sent some of the users some notification which we want to reset at a particular time. We can do that. Now this is the main function. /5 minute. That means we are running it every 5 minutes. If we say star, it means every minute. /5, it means every 5 minutes, and daily ** means at every 5 minutes without any day or something. Now let's understand. Let's see what it is doing. Send alerts function. What it is doing. This function send out alerts to the users who are subscribed for a particular pin code or let's say district. So this is we know it is subscribe for districts. So it is we'll see. So what we are doing is, first of all, we are fetching all the clients. Those are true, active as true. That means we are getting out, fetching all the active clients, and we are excluding all those clients where there is no saved alerts. Basically, saved alerts. So when we got the clients, we just making sure that we don't have anyone doing empty saved alerts, and then we know the format of our saved alerts. It is something like this. Let's see. It is something like this. First we have age, then we have dictionary. In dictionary we have district ID, and then we have ID. Let's see if it is making sense over here. So when we iterate over saved alerts dot items, this will be age, and the data will be this. And in this data, we are fetching out district IDs. We know it is over here. We are fetching out district IDs, and for all the district IDs, we are getting response points. So what we are doing while at the time of iteration, we are applying iteration at the time of iteration. for this particular district. Now we have created another function where there might be possible that more than one user have registered for the same district. So it does not make sense to call the API every time. So what we are doing is we are storing in on our end. So basically we can cache it by using some of the internal tools, cache, Redis, whatever you want to use. But for the sake of simplicity, we have not used any cache. We have just created our own dictionary just to make things clear. So we are just checking if this particular district ID is already present in the response. We are simply returning it from the response, otherwise we are calling the slot by district ID. This is just to make sure that we are not throttling any third party, or third party is not like blocking us due to access information, access usage or the API hits. So we are doing that. Now since we get the response, what we are doing is we are simply we know that a client has opted for a particular district. We are simply notifying this particular client with message whatever he wants to, whatever we will send to him. So we will notify the clients with this response, whatever we get, and the case type, whatever we have over here, and the district ID. We know that from what district this response belongs to. So we are simply calling this particular district ID, and then here we are doing some logic whether the 18 plus slot is available or not. This slot is available. We know that this is the client and this is the sender's age type and keyboard arguments. We know that we are getting for this particular district, and appending we are creating this string, standard string. This is the slot, and if client has opted for 18 plus, we are checking for 18 plus slots, and we need to make sure that we have minimum 18 plus slot availability. This 18 plus slot availability is maybe we can have something like, we know that every center might have a number of slots. We just want to make sure that we only get slot having more than this, like maybe we can say 10 slots. So maybe we get all the center which has more than 18 slots or 10 slots. 18 available the same way. And once we have this, we are calling notify client, and what it does is it actually see whether we have to notify the client or not. So if this is the age time, and we know that there is max alert. Suppose max alert is 5, and in we have already sent out max alerts to the client. Maybe we have already sent more than 5 or 5 alerts. So we will not process this thing anymore because we don't want user to bother. So we can put a limit like this, and whenever we send a alert, we need to make sure that we increment the counter alerts. Also at the same time, we are incrementing the total alerts we are sending out. Because this alert, if we are resetting it, this counter we are not. So yeah, this is the functionality. And so when we send out alert, we just increment the counter, and every 2 hours we are resetting this counter to 0 so that user can again see. So this code might not be very optimized because we are using a lot of functionality. This is not an optimized structure. You guys, once the functionality is done, you can always opt for refactoring of the code. So when we start with functionality, refactoring is not the first step. The first step is to build the functionality. Once we have all the functionality implementing, then we can refactor. Yeah, so this is not an ideal code, but yeah, this is something which works well. And once you know how to run this code, you can always go for refactor. Once my file is ready, once everything is ready, I just need to run a command python manage.py install tasks. What it does is it will add all the tasks to the cron job. So after what we left is after adding Chrome, we just need to add this thing in our install task, which we have not done. So what we need to do is over here we need to add Chrome over here. Now it will recognize the command. Yes, new task installed. So that is done. Chrome now since the Chrome is installed, I can make it live and I can do whatever I want to notify to the user, and that's it. That's all. That's all in the section. In the next section, we will deploy all this code to AWS server, and we can see how we can serve to our EC2 instances. Thank you.